Welcome to General Mathematics. So in this video, we're going to look into the application of exponential functions in terms of the compound interest. So let us revisit the definition of exponential function. So a function is an exponential function if it has a constant growth or decay factor. So when we say growth or decay factor, it is a fixed number, a fixed rate, or a fixed percentage that will determine or will indicate how the value of the function will grow or will increase, or how the value of the function will decrease through time or over time. Any quantity that grows or decays by a fixed percent or at a regular interval is said to possess exponential growth or exponential decay. So to define exponential growth, it occurs when some quantity regularly increases by a fixed percentage, while exponential decay occurs when some quantity regularly decreases by a fixed percentage. So therefore, in a given situation, our growth factor is constant. So depending on the given situation. The equation for the exponential relationship is given by y is equal to a times b raised to x, where a is the initial value of y when x is equal to 0, b is the exponential factor, and x is the time intervals that have passed. So, sabi natin from our laws of exponent, any number that is raised to 0 is equal to 1. So therefore, if our base is raised to 0, then our base will be, then the exponential expression is equal to 1, and 1 times a is equal to a. So therefore, when x is equal to 0, the value of y is equal to a. So a is our initial value, and this is the meaning for the rest. So b is the exponential factor, and x is the time interval that have passed. So exponential factor, so in the exponential factor, in the function y is equal to a times b raised to x, has two conditions. So if the factor b is greater than 1, then we call the relationship exponential growth, and if the factor b is less than 1, then we call the relationship exponential decay. So recall in the definition of exponential function that there are also two conditions where b is greater than 0 and b is not equal to 1, and we also have from this definition the value of b can be greater than 1 and the value of b can be greater than 0, b can be greater than 0, and b can be greater than 0 but less than 1. So yan. So if the value of b is greater than 1, then the function is increasing. So we have exponential growth. So in a graph, if we demonstrate it using a graph, so for b is greater than 1, then the value of the function is increasing over time. Ayan. So this must be a curve. So, parang curve, parang ganyan, curve. So kapag naman b is less than 1 or b is greater than 0 but less than 1, kailangan yung natin is in representing it through graph, we have here a decreasing value. So as the x increases, our function decreases. So for the model of exponential growth in the function y is equal to ab raised to x, if the b factor is greater than 1, then to look for the value of y after some period of time, we add the initial value and the initial value times the growth factor in time. So y is equal to a plus a times b raised to x, and simplifying this equation, we can take out a and multiply it by the quantity 1 plus b raised to x. And then, since we define b as the rate, we can just use r to denote rate and x as the time interval, so we use t to denote time. So this is now the exponential growth model. And for the exponential decay, instead of addition, we use subtraction. So ayan. So, this is for the exponential decay model. So, paano natin to gagamitin? So, we're going to use this, in this video, we're going to use this to solve problems involving the concept of compound interest. So, last time I already introduced you this short activity where I let you choose between option A, earning 10,000 pesos every day, and option B, earning 1 centavos on day 1 and doubling the value every day. So, nakita natin that for the next 30 days, option B will have greater value than option A. So, what happens there is that, yeah. So, if we double the value every day, so what we did there is that 1 centavos, we doubled it, so we multiplied it by 2, and then the next day we multiplied it again by 2, and then multiplied it again by 2, and then until the 30th day we multiplied it by 2, so there are 29 doublings. So instead of writing this in this form, we can just write it in this form. So yan, that is an exponential expression. So 1 centavos times 2 raised to 29, and the value of that expression is equal to 5,368,709.12 centavos. Excuse me. So as you can see, this form is an exponential function, exponential expression. So therefore, the growth of your money and the growth of your debt is governed by the exponential function called the compound interest. So therefore, compound interest is an exponential application of exponential function. So to define compound interest is a type of interest which is paid on the original principal and on the accumulated past investments. So meaning that the principal and the interest are combined and treated as the new principal for the succeeding period. So therefore, if you have the principal amount and then nag-earn siya ng interest, the next compounding period or the next increase will be principal plus your interest, lalagyan siya ng another interest. So, compounding, accumulated. So, compound interest essentially means that it is the interest on the interest because your interest is also gaining an interest plus the principal. So, the equation for compound interest follows the exponential growth model of exponential function. So, to understand, let us define the terminologies for the compound interest and relate it to our exponential growth model. So, sabi natin, ang model natin for exponential growth is y is equal to a times 1 plus r raised to t. So, first is we have the future value or the accumulated value. So, this future value corresponds to y. So, therefore, instead of y, we can just write fv or we can just write a. So, gamitin na lang natin yung a. So, is equal to, so we have here our principal value or the initial value borrowed, and we know that in our model, this represents the initial values. Therefore, instead of using here a, we use p. And then times 1 plus, we have here the nominal rate or the annual interest rate raised to the time period in years. So, yung rate dito is defined as annual rate, and then time is also defined in years. So, we also have here another factor, which is the number of compounding periods. So, this factor, this number of compounding periods is needed to be considered in our compound interest. So, sa compound interest, ang equation niya is A is equal to P times 1 plus R divided by the number of compounding raised to number of compounding multiplied by the time period. So, ano yung number of compounding natin? So, we have here annual, compounded annually, compounded semi-annually, compounded quarterly, compounded bi-monthly, or compounded monthly. So, Compounded annually is the same as compounding every year. Compounding semi-annually is the same as every 6 months. Ito, quarterly, the same as every 3 months. Bi-monthly is the same as every 2 months. And monthly is the same as every month. So, kapag nakita nyo na yan, compounded annually or any of this, then, yung value of n, ito yung value of n natin. Yan. So, annually, n is equal to 1. So, dito, n is equal to 2, n is equal to 4, n is equal to 6, and n is equal to 12. And so on. So, the compound interest equation now is a is equal to p times 1 plus r divided by n raised to n times t. So, let us have the following example. So, example number 1. So, if 10,000 pesos is deposited in an account that earns 12% interest per annum, how much will be in the account after 4 years if it is compounded A annually, B semi-annually, and C quarterly? So, let us answer letter A. So, let's write first the equation or the formula. So, A is equal to P times 1 plus R divided by N raised to N times T. So, ano yung given dito? So, we know the value of the principal, which is 10,000 pesos. We know the value of R, which is 12%. So, we're writing it in decimal form. So, 0.12. So, the number of time interval is 4 years. And, to know the value of N, sabi dito, compounded annually. So, puntahan natin yung table of compounding natin. Compounding frequency. So, kapag sinabing compounded annually, so, ibig sabihin, ang value of n natin is equal to 1. So, kapag annually. So, balik tayo dun sa problem. So, ang n natin dito is equal to 1. So, substitute natin yung ating formula with the given. So, A, taas na lang natin para A is equal to 10,000 times 1 plus 0.12 divided by 1 raised to 1 times 4. So 10,000 1 plus 0.12 divided by 1 is 1.12 raised to 1 times 4 is equal to 4. So 1.12 raised to 4 is equal to 1.57351936 times 10,000 is equal to yes, the amount. So, i-sentence form nyo na lang yung final answer ninyo. So, the amount after 4 years will be 15,735 pesos and 19 centavos. So, this is the future value of your deposited amount. So, after 4 years, 10,000 pesos will grow to 15,735.19 if the annual rate is 12%. Letter B, so compounded semi-annually. So, write natin the formula. The formula is A is equal to P times 1 plus R divided by the N raised to N times T. So, we don't know the value of A. We know the value of P, which is 10,000. We know the value of R, which is 0.12. T is 4. And then, the value of N, we know that since this is semi-annually, so from our table, if we look at our table, semi-annually, sabi dito, semi-annual is, the number of compounding is 2. So, therefore, lalagay natin dito that N is equal to 2. So, using our equation, we can now substitute it and solve for the value of A. So, A is equal to 10,000 times 1 plus 0.12 divided by 2 raised to 2 times 4. So 10,000 times 1 plus 0.06 raised to 8. 10,000 times 1.06 raised to 8 is equal to 10,000. 1.06 raised to 8 is equal to 1.593848.075 times 10,000 is equal to, so the amount after 4 years, if it is compounded semi-annually, the amount is equal to 15,938.48 centavos. Ayusin ko to. So, 0.48. That naging blue. Okay. So, the amount, if your deposited amount is compounded semi-annually with a rate of 12% per annum, then after 4 years, the value would be equal to 15,938.48 pesos. Ayan. So, isulat nyo na lang again, isulat nyo na lang yung final answer nyo into sentence form. So, letter C, compounded quarterly. So, again, let's write our formula. So, A is equal to P times 1 plus R divided by N raised to N times T. So, we don't know A. We know P is equal to 10,000. R is equal to 0.12. T is equal to 4. And then, N is equal to 4. Because this is compounded quarterly. So, puntahan nyo na lang yung table compounding frequency natin, table of compounding, to determine the number of compounding. So, let us now substitute our equation. So, A is equal to 10,000 times 1 plus 0.12 divided by 4 raised to 4 times 4 is equal to 10,000 times 1 plus 0.03 raised to 16 is equal to 10,000 times 1.03 raised to 16. So 1.03 raised to 16 is equal to, so 10,000 times 1.604 706,439 times 10,000 is equal to, so the future value now of your deposited amount, if it is compounded quarterly with a rate of 12% per annum, is equal to 16,000 pesos, 16,047 pesos and 6 centavos. So that is for our first example. So if we compound it, so depending on the number of compounding, nagbabago din yung value. So tignan natin. So pare-pareho yung initial value natin dito, diba? So pareho din yung interval and pareho din yung interest natin. Pero kapag if you compound it, more number of compounding, mas mataas yung value natin. So kung makikita nyo dito, ay sana yung first example natin. Ito yung first example natin. Ayan. Sa letter A, nakikita nyo that the value when compounded annually is 15,735. When we compounded it semi-annually, nag-increase siya by some hundreds, naging 15,938. And then when we compounded it quarterly, naging 16,000 yung value. Pero the same lang naman yung deposited amount ko and the interest. So, therefore, dito sa compound interest, more number of compounding, mas greater yung return sa'yo. Mas greater yung increase sa inyong deposited or initial principal value. So let us answer our practice problems. So we have here problem number 1 and problem number 2. So for number 1, Mr. Sheldon Cooper wants to deposit 50,000 pesos into a savings plan. So, meron siyang option, si Bank A and Bank B. Si Bank A offers 7.25%. So, isulat natin yung given for Bank A. So, yung rate kay Bank A is equal to 0.0725%. So, compounding, number of compounding is every 3 months. So, pag sinabing every 3 months, excuse me. So, pag sinabing every 3 months, ayan yung, natin, 4. So, quarterly. So, 4 times. Okay, so, 4 times siyang nagko-compound kapag sinabing every 3 months, that is quarterly. So, n is equal to 4. And then, si Bank B, for Bank B, offers the same rate. So, therefore, ang rate kay Bank B is equal to 0.0725% also, 0.725. And then, but is compounded monthly. So, kapag sinabing compounded monthly, that is every month. So, therefore, ilang month ba sa ilang taon? So, we have 12 months. Excuse me. So, which bank should Sheldon pick to have a higher return after 40 years? So, the time interval is equal to 40 years. So, let us use our equation. For Bank A, and then, dito si Bank B. Ano ba tayo? Wala. Asa na yun? So, for Bank A, we have here A is equal to P times 1 plus R over N raised to N times T. So, our principal value is equal to 50,000. So, 50,000 times 1 plus 0.0725 divided by 4 raised to 4 times 40 is equal to 50,000 times. So, idiretso ko na lang to. So, 0.0725 divided by 4 plus 1 is equal to 1.018125 raised to 4 times 40 is equal to 160. 50,000 times 1.018125 raised to 160 is equal to 17.0827527 times 50,000. So, if Sheldon choose Bank A, then the return would be 885,413 pesos and 76 centavos. So, yan. So, just write it down in sentence form. O yung final answer nyo na lang isulat nyo. So, let us solve for Bank B. So, again, A is equal to P times 1 plus R divided by N raised to N times T. So, our P is equal to 50,000 times 1 plus 0.0725 divided by the number of compounding kay B is 12. raised to 12 times 40 is equal to 50,000 times 0.0725 divided by 12 is equal to so na yun 0.0725 divided by 12 yan, plus 1 is equal to 1.00604166 raised to 12 times 40 is equal to 480. So 50,000 times 1.0060416667 raised to 480 is equal to 18.01626333. So again class, mag-round off kayo doon na sa final answer. Times 50,000 is equal to, so sa bank B, magre-return siya ng 900,813 pesos, 0.17 centavos. So, ayan. So, therefore, Sheldon should choose Bank B if he wants to have higher return after 40 years. So, he must choose Bank B, which is compounding every month, in order to have a higher return. So, this is the value for Bank A and Bank B. So, just write your answer in sentence form as a conclusion to this problem. So, let us answer our last problem. So, problem number 2. So, you want to accumulate 200,000 pesos to take a trip to Northeast Asian countries 10 years from now. So, you can earn 12% compounded monthly in your market investments. What amount must you deposit today in one lump sum to have 200,000 pesos in 10 years? So, again, our equation, our formula is A is equal to P times 1 plus R divided by N raised to N times T. So, given yung ating accumulated value or the future value is equal to 200,000 pesos. And then, our time interval is equal to 10 years. And we also have here the rate, which is 12% or 0.12 and compounded monthly. So, we know that N is equal to 12. So, hindi natin alam yung value ng ating yung principal. So, unknown. So, therefore, we need to look for the value of the principal. So, derive tayo from this equation. Let us derive an equation to solve for the principal amount. So, A is equal to P times 1 plus R over N raised to N times T. So, para ma-eliminate natin to and then ma-isolate si P, divide both sides by 1 plus R divided by N raised to N times T. So, 1 plus R divided by N raised to N times T. So, ma-eliminate natin to. So, P is equal to the amount, accumulated amount, divided by 1 plus R divided by N raised to N times T. So, A is equal to 200,000. So, R is equal to 0.12, N is equal to 12, and T is equal to 10 years. Okay, so we have here 200,000 divided by 0.12 divided by 12 plus 1 is equal to 1.01 raised to 12 times 10 is equal to 120. 1.01 raised to 120 is equal to 3 point something. So, yan. 200,000 divided by 3.300,386,895 is equal to so you need to invest money equal to 60,598.96 or ay mali yung symbol. So the principal natin, yung principal investment mo, yung investment mo in one lump sum, dapat maghulog ka ng 60,598 pesos and 96 centavos para at the end of 10 years you'll have 200,000 pesos. So again, just state your final answer as in sentence form. So this is for the application of exponential function in context of compound interest. So in our following videos, we're going to discuss other application of exponential function. So in terms of population growth, in terms of spread of virus, in terms of decay, depreciation of value, and radioactive decay of materials. So see you in our next video.